I was lost and had a big family, lots of kids, and was always disorganized, late, always late. So that was a major problem in my life, just being late for things very often. And then my relationships would be hindered by that. They would think I was disrespecting them when I wasn't at all. I mean, inwardly, I knew I was not doing it intentionally. But when you have kids, you see the inadequacies of yourself coming out in them. And so when I had my my fifth child, he struggled with some things, and no one ever knew what was going on with him either. He was just always a good kid, but he didn't talk a lot, kind of did his own thing, didn't really pay attention to other people. But he was good, and he was generous, and he was loving, he was kind. And those were all the things I was, which was interesting. Like growing up, that's how I was too. But then people started trashing him too, like condemning him, and then he started abusing. But his struggles with not being able to communicate what was bothering him, and him starting to abuse drugs because probably of his isolation or the way he was feeling, that was peculiar to me, a little bit peculiar. But again, the teachers don't say anything. The doctors don't say anything. He's physically fine. When he got to be older, he got into some heavy drugs and ended up just off the beaten path so badly, and tried to commit suicide a couple of times. And I didn't know what was going on with him. But then I saw the PBS special on Dr. Amen and Tana on healing ADD. And as I listened to them talk, it jogged something in me, thinking, oh, wow, I think I have something like this. Like, that sounds like some of my struggles. At the same time, I was bringing my son to a psychiatrist, child psychiatrist, to find out what was going on with him. And we also had his brain scanned and found out that he has a brain cyst as well. And so the doctors thought that that was his culprit of his behavior. My son ended up doing even more drugs with his girlfriend and ended up in prison. When he ended up in prison, that was the killer for me. That is when I really, like I said, got the help. I wanted to get an appointment for myself. Before I got an appointment for myself, Dr. Amen in Bannockburn in Chicago, they had an open house. After he spoke, he did a meet and greet with every single person who was there. And that meant so much to me because my husband does not believe in psychiatry or whatever, or brain health, apparently. So to have somebody like a father figure or a brother figure, a doctor who knew what he was talking about, that I could relate to, that was going to help me. I mentioned to him that my son was in prison, but that he had been a patient out in California. He said, oh, what's his name? And he looked it up on his phone. He looked it up and he saw his diagnosis and said, oh, okay, he's got this, he's got this. I said, so would it be helpful if his attorney had this information and that he would be able to get into the mental health side of prison? Dr. Amen said, absolutely. And I was like, great. It was like I had the answer to my test. On my test, I had the big answer. And all it was one word, absolutely. So, when he got out of prison, he never talked to me the whole time he was in, 14 months. Yeah, I couldn't talk to my son. He didn't want to talk to me, but it forced me to get the help I needed and get that appointment for myself and get that treatment plan And since I'm so much like my son, that would help him eventually too, with me getting help for my ADD. With my son, I thought his problem was spiritual, 100% spiritual problem. But I realized that, again, learning that we are not just spiritual beings or just physical beings. We're emotional, we're social, we're physiological, we're all these different holistic. Every part needs to be given attention. But Dr. Amen opened my eyes to we are more than just that, more than one thing. And so I'm just sharing everything, just like Dr. Amen is so generous in sharing what he knows. That's ripple effect that, we're able to do.